And welcome to the Midday Show. I am Jeff Everett. He is Mark Messina. It is Christmas Eve's Eve. We wanted to hop on here, one last show before the holidays. Wish everybody a Merry Christmas. Maybe do some traditions and spirits, some thank yous, whatever else comes up. The Mark rant is gaining momentum. It's gaining steam. My phone's blowing up about Mark's rants.
Okay, that's a lie.
It's not. How are you feeling today?
I feel like you're lying to me. That's how I feel.
I would never lie to you about the Mark rant. Mark rant is the real thing.
I'm glad you clarified this. I just want to show people this is the wonderful coworkers I have. This is one of the presents I got yesterday.
Yeah.
This is Legends of Southwest Champ. So this is Ted DiBiase. That's $1 Million Man. That's the Junkyard Dog. That's Jake the Snake Roberts. I think did he just die? JYD died a long time ago. So anyway, this is cool. This is cool. Apparently, it was purchased for the low price of $1. But for people who think this is a gag gift, they're wrong.
Joke is on them.
Joke is on them. Unfortunately, I am one of those high class people who still has a DVD player.
Let's ask this. If you're watching the show right now, all we want to know, do you still have a DVD player in your home? Is there something hooked up to it? Because you can't say a laptop. Laptop, you slide it in, you can watch on your laptop. Can you sit on your couch without anything on your lap and have a TV or projector play a DVD? I want to know. Mark wants to know. I keep arguing to him that you do not need a DVD player in your house anymore. I'm the normal one. I am not the weirdo for not having a DVD player.
Well, there's lots of things you don't need in your house. But
here, right off the bat, I have 3 DVD players in my house.
Now that's a little extreme. I only have 2.
3 of them. I honestly, like I said before, I have a laptop. I can put the DVD in. I could hook the HDMI up to the projector. I could do it, but it's not. I mean, you can stream everything now. I don't know. I just feel like
this is in this. I have a TV that is only hooked up to the DVD player.
Oh, okay. Like no cable, no like Wi-Fi.
In my bedroom, there's a TV with no cable. It is just hooked up to the DVD player.
But just to clarify, no Wi-Fi either.
No.
Okay, because it's not uncommon to have a TV that's not hooked up to cable now.
Well, yeah, I know what you meant. I can't get any shows on it other than so it's my ability. So I don't just watch it like every night. Because you have a TV in your room, right? Oh, you don't have a TV in your house. What am I talking about? So like for old people like us, you would turn the TV on, you just go and it just becomes mindless. So now I have to intentionally put something in. So yeah, that's the way I do it.
Okay. Lisa says, I still have a DVD player, but in my defense, I'm as old as Mark, which is that might be the key here. That could be the reasoning.
I feel like that was an insult, but it was very funny. So I will,
just to come over to your side for a little bit. I was talking to a couple of younger former players, and I was telling them about how this time of year, like around the holidays, a big thing, like a big gift that you could do for your friends or for your crush or for whoever is the mixtape. Like you would burn the CD and you would like give it to them for the holidays. Like that was a real thing. And now I don't even know. I mean, I guess you could make like a Spotify playlist maybe and like send it to them, but it's not. I feel like it's not the same.
Oh, it's not. No, the mixtape, as you said, the I love you mixtape, the breakup mixtape, the I would love to love you mixtape. Like there were, and then you have your workout tape, and I guess those are different because the ones you make for yourself is just like making a playlist.
Right.
And I used to burn. I remember when I burned the DVD of Motley Crue's greatest hits, and I made my own because I had all their albums, and I did the same for Bon Jovi. But no, you're right. The making of the mixtape and handing it to someone was like, that was a big deal.
I can remember too albums coming out during the holiday season, And I remember like maybe you could only burn 10 copies of it, right? Like maybe you only had 10 blank CDs. And I can remember like when you walked into school and you could only hand 10 of them out. I mean, it was who got the 10. It was a thing. Like that was a big deal to walk up to somebody and be like, hey, here's the new whatever, and like hand it to them. Like that was big.
Well, wait, in Blossburg, didn't that cover about everybody?
No, I mean, it covered the people closest to me, probably. Sure.
Okay.
I mean, here's the thing about the mixtape too, though. Like that is, I don't know how far in we want to go into this. I mean, at the time, you didn't have social media, you didn't have phones. You could have different friends, crushes, all at different. Now you can't do that. Now with social media, they know. Like if you have a crush at one school, you can't have a crush at another school because
Sure
now
you
they
can.
know. No,
Well, they
well,
know.
you can, but
They know.
but now it's like everybody. It's all intertwined. It's all interconnected. So it's a little bit different now. Here, Bo wants to know: are movies still released on DVD?
Oh my God, yes.
I think it's still
Don't you
released.
people go to Walmart?
Well, I think he's being facetious. I think he's trying to make you feel bad. B, I think they are, but it's not. I think they go to streaming first. Like I think the typical pecking order is like
Probably.
streaming or theater, and then they do like a streaming run before it actually goes into like DVD circulation.
Yeah, I don't know.
Did you hear? You'll appreciate this. Did you
Can
see
you
the
stream
clip?
this for $1? Can you stream this for $1?
I can
No.
probably stream it. Honestly, I can probably find it on YouTube for free if we're having the real conversation. Did you see Matt? I believe it was Matt Damon. He gave an explanation. He was talking about why dramas are not made anymore. So why Marvel dominates and all these like high action, big budget graphics, special effects. And he said part of the reason is when you would make a drama and maybe it was a movie that you didn't need to see in the theater, the movie companies could bank on the DVD sales. Like they knew, even though we're not going to make this in the theater, we'll have this huge second run of inventory with the blockbusters and DVD purchases and so on and so forth. And Damon said now with streaming, he goes, streaming didn't kill theaters. He goes, streaming killed dramas. It killed the ability to make these low budget indie style dramas where you had the DVD run, and now it's impossible. I thought that was fascinating.
Yeah, that is interesting. I'd never thought of that.
Yeah. He said, but his whole, the thing that kind of stuck with me is people have it backwards, right? Like we all think streaming is going to kill the theaters. He's like, no, he's like people like, I think this summer proved it. Like when Top Gun comes out, people are going to go to the theater to see Top Gun, right?
Right.
He said it's the drama that has suffered. You can know, he goes, Good Will Hunting would not have been made in 2022, not because it wasn't worthwhile, but because it could not have made money enough for the movie company to justify it.
Well, that sucks because that's my favorite movie ever, and it's right.
That's why I used it.
That hurts. Wow.
Yeah, that's why I used it.
That'll come back around.
Real quick, is Blu-ray still a thing? Do you think The Way of Water will come out on DVD or just Blu-ray? People still buy. I thought the Blu-ray thing was kind of like done. No?
Oh, I think they're all. I mean, literally, my $30 DVD player plays them both.
Okay.
So, like, to me,
but
it
I
doesn't
thought we
matter.
decided, did we not as a society, I must have missed the meeting. I thought as a society, we decided that Blu-ray was like unnecessary. Like it didn't need to be that high of a quality copy. Or did I miss that?
Well, didn't everything? I remember when HD TV was all the rage. And I remember when, I had Facebook friends in the big city. I think it was like Oreo games weren't on HD.
Okay.
And people were, I shouldn't say people, some people were up in arms. I was like, who cares? Like,
I'm one of those. Once you watch sports in HD and you tried to go backwards, it was brutal.
You know what I want to know on 3rd and 4? Did
What?
they get the first down? I don't need to. I don't need to see it in high definition. I just need to see where the first down marker is.
But because I remember I was in college the first time I had an HD TV and was consistently watching sports in HD. And then you would go to a bar or a friend's house that didn't, and you would try to watch a basketball game. And I was like, oh, this is rough. Like, this is not, we're not watching the same thing. Just facial expressions, like the crowd, like it's just different.
You know what I care? You know what I don't care about on 3rd and 4? Facial expressions.
That's a football thing, though.
You know what I do care about? Did they get the first down?
But that's a football thing because you can't always see the face. Basketball is very different. I would argue baseball, same thing. Don't you want to see their facial expression? You don't want to see the sweat dripping off of Verlander as his career legacy is being defined in the World Series?
You know what I want to see out of Verlander when it's 3-2? Does he throw a strike? Does he throw it down the middle? I don't care about his expression.
This one you want to disagree with. Hockey. HD hockey changed everything.
Did it?
You could see the puck. Like, what do you mean?
You can see the puck. If you're a hockey fan, you can follow the puck. And I'm not even a huge hockey fan. I only watch in the playoffs, but you can find the puck.
Listen, I'm like downplaying the Blu-ray. I think HD, like the whole Blu-ray, like 4K, all of those things are like a little over-exaggerated. But when it comes to sports, I think it's incredibly, incredibly important. Really, really important. I could be wrong, though. Who watches sports for facial expressions in the crowd? I actually wrote, Heather will appreciate this. Actually, Mark, you'll appreciate this too. My final paper in college, like my dissertation, was actually about how sports is the greatest drama we have. And it's better than any script you could write. It's better because it is raw visual emotion. So it's funny that Heather says that because I'm a weirdo who that is literally my joy of sports is that I want to see the emotional reaction, how people are handling it. I want to see if they're screaming, if they're yelling. I want to see the sweat. I want to see the spit flying. It's the truest drama we have as a society.
And as you use the term raw,
yes,
you need your rawness as polished and as clean as humanly possible.
Yeah. Yes.
Because that's really not what raw. That's kind of the opposite of raw.
No, it's called being able to see. You don't want to be able to see what's happening. Okay, let's put it this way. When people go to see Broadway, like when they go to see Hamilton on Broadway, why are the seats up front more expensive than the seats in the back? Because you want to be able to see what you're watching.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but it doesn't. Do you think the people up front enjoy the show more than the people in the back?
I think yes. I think there's an aspect of it. Do I think they love it any less or hate it any more or less? No. Like you're still seeing the thing, but are they certainly getting a viewpoint or seeing things that people further back? Yeah, without a doubt.
I guess. I don't know. I'm picturing
you and I've talked. That's why we like the CTL so much, right? Because like there's not a bad seat. Like you're kind of all on equal footing.
No, I get it. So I'm picturing Jay Wright when they win the national championship, when the guy hits a shot with 4 seconds to go and Jay Wright doesn't react. So now you can see his non-reaction in high def.
But that's the funny thing. His non-reaction was the story, right? Like his cool and his calm and like that has now defined what we think of as Jay Wright.
You know where his non-reaction also was? Normal def.
So you disagree with me that sports are like the truest drama?
No, I agree with that 100%.
Okay, you just
I
don't
agree with
care
that
1,000%. You just don't care to see it as much as I do.
But at the end of the day, when you know when the Rams and the Titans are in the Super Bowl and the guy gets tackled at the 1 yard line, I just need did he get in or did he not? I don't need to see it in high def. Like the beauty of that, the beauty of sports is not about, whether Scott Norwood's field goal went out or Adam Vinatieri's field goal went in. I don't need it in high def. I just like the drama is the drama.
So if they redid Good Will Hunting, you don't care if it's Matt Damon or Ben Affleck. The story, what happened in the story is what matters.
Well, I can't picture it without it. No, that's different. Because I can't imagine good. It's like saying when I watch It's a Wonderful Life, do you care if it's Jimmy Stewart? They can't really do it without Jimmy Stewart. So that's a little different.
Okay, I'll give it to you. Lisa wants to know, who are these people who can't follow the puck? Remember when they did the fluorescent highlight around the puck?
Yeah.
The eye roll. Do you remember when they would slap shot it? It used to leave like a trail, like a streak. Yeah, yes. I remember that too.
Now, I will say this to Lisa, and I don't know if she's as awful as it was in hockey. it is awesome in golf.
Mm-hmm.
When you watch golf on TV and you see the shape of the shot working, I couldn't imagine watching golf.
Golf's a good one too, though. Golf's way better in HD than not in HD.
Is it?
How is it not? Like, I don't understand. Okay, let me rephrase the question before we get off of it. What is the downside to watching sports in HD?
Well, there's no
Why is
downside,
it not
but it's not. It doesn't take away. When that dude last year was about to win the PGA Championship, and he was this nobody, and he gets on the 18th hole and he hits it in the water on 18 because he's a moron. Like, I didn't need to see that in HD to know he's a moron. Like, why are you hitting driver? What are you doing?
But don't you want to see, like, the anguish? Like, don't you want to, like, just be able to see the dramatic anguish on his face of, like, oh my God, I may have blew this. Like, that's the whole point.
I mean, I knew the anguish. I could tell. I don't.
It's too close to home.
So you're like, so you can't. So then the radio world you can't listen to a game on the radio.
Well, so see, that's where I think like there's a lot of times where you and I talk, we're closer in age than further in age. Radio for me is hard. Like I think radio is, like, annoying is the wrong word. I didn't experience radio enough to really think the radio matters. There's something very bland about the radio of not having the visual, but not only that, like, even just the real time of radio where, like, you can't fast forward, you can't rewind, you can't find the thing you want to find. There's a very millennial aspect I have about the radio that I feel it's like one of the most pointless things we have.
You know, for people old like me and Lisa, when we were watching games as a kid, you only got a replay if the TV gave it to you. You couldn't rewind it and watch it again.
That's right. Exactly. Like, I'm glad I didn't have to experience that world very long. Like, by the time I was 18, the iPod had came out. Like I don't know. I wasn't stuck in that world very long. I was downloading songs on my computer at 12. Like, thankfully for me, the radio was not my experience.
Wow. It's when I joke about us raising a soft generation, you are like pillowy soft, my friend.
That's the pillowy soft is not wanting to listen to the radio. That's the defining thing for
you can't rewind it. You can't see it again. You can't, like,
this is what I'm saying is, like, there is a I'm trying to think. There is a hopelessness to listening to the radio where, like, you are just along for the ride and you have very little say in what's about to happen. And I just grew up in a world where, like, at the age of 11, 12, I was realizing, like, oh, I can type in whatever song I want and just listen to it.
Well, I get it. But when you're watching golf in high def, I don't know if you're aware of this. You have very little say in what's happening. You can watch it again, but you don't.
I understand that. The high def part of it, because that was really the argument. The high def part of it, I'm not saying I need it in 4K. I don't need it to be perfect, like anything, but, like, huge difference between basic and HD. That is, like, the jumping point. That's the Mendoza line.
I guess.
HD is the Mendoza line. That's all I'm saying. Obviously you grew up listening to the radio. Do you, like, I think AM, FM, it would have drove me nuts because you would just sit there and listening. I remember being 8 and trying to wait for the right song to come on the radio so I could hit the double button play record and I could get my favorite song on the tape so I no longer had to wait for the radio to play it. Like, that's how much and I was like 8, like, honest to God, 8 years old. That's how much I disliked the radio. I literally was already conniving ways to not have to listen to the radio.
Oh, dude, back in the way days, when you were just recording it on a tape recorder next to the radio, and you had to hope everyone in the house was quiet enough through the whole song that you didn't get background noise.
Yeah.
Like, you went into the corner of wherever.
But imagine having a product where everybody's goal with that product was to try to take the thing off of it so they didn't have to use that product anymore. That's the radio.
Well, no, that's like saying, no, stop it.
That's the radio.
Well, no. Well, you're saying that's what movies are to them because they go to streaming and they go to this and, so.
It's different though, because movies are longer, so there's not like this constant rotation of it. Whereas with songs, it's like
understand the product was an album. It was just your way of not having to buy the album. You could record it off the radio.
You could listen to the radio with that. That's fair. So it was like a cheaper alternative to having to go out and spend the money on the album.
Yes, you would have never made it in my era, youngster.
My issue would have been, and I think you would agree with this. My issue would have been, I don't think I would have been able to just accept it. Like I would have been the person going around being like, "Is this the best we can do? Like the radio is the best we can do right now."
Well, listen. This is one of my.
You have to wait 60 minutes for that song to come back around in the rotation. Like, what are we doing?
One of my like we would hear, the DJ would say, "Coming up after the break, we have new Madonna music and Bon Jovi and Bruce Springsteen," and you'd be like, "Oh, this might be it. This might." So, I was just gonna say something and now I forgot. What were you saying?
I'm sorry, I may have thrown you out.
Oh, this is where I knew I was a genius. When I was young, you turn on the football game, you didn't know what the score was. You had to wait. You had to wait till commercial. That's when they showed the score coming in and out of commercial. And I said, when I grow up, I'm going to invent a button on the remote so you can press it and you can see the score whenever you want. Because you would walk into the game, that would be like listening to the radio. You turn on the radio and you wait till they tell you the score. Mm-hmm. And one of the broadcaster things was they said you have to keep reminding the score like every 3 minutes. They talked about the egg timer. When the egg timer's up, say the score again, because there's people that just tuned in all the time.
Sure.
When I was a kid, you'd come into a football game. You had no idea what the score was until someone told you, or you saw, or went to a commercial.
So you're implying you were watching sports before they had the infographic on the bottom.
Absolutely. And NBC was the last one to bring it. Because A, it wasn't their idea, so they didn't want to do it. And then B, they were like, well, it helps our ratings because you have to stick around and watch longer to get the score. And it's like, and I told a buddy of mine who interned at NBC, and I was like, I get your theory, but what you're doing, you're not dragging the audience through. You're pissing the audience off. And it's never a good idea to piss off your audience. And then NBC was the last one that broke down and added it.
So why don't we apply that strategy to the midday show?
What, a scoreboard?
No, not pissing people off.
Oh, that's a good point. I don't know, maybe in the new year, that's something we should look into.
We should work on it. Like we said, we just wanted to jump on Christmas Eve's Eve. Do you know what that's from? Christmas Eve's Eve?
Elf?
It's a Friends reference, and I'm not a huge Friends fan, but I believe Phoebe was the one who used the line. So Christmas Eve's. Merry Christmas to everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching Midday Show. Thank you for using NorthcentralPa.com for all your local news. Thank you to Weis Markets for being title sponsor as well. Bogue says, yeah, Mark, you make me mad. Get in line, Bogue. You are not the only one that we consistently make mad with.
Now, let me just throw this in. I'm guessing lots of people make Bogue mad.
Bogue
I'm guessing, and I only know him a little. He's a guy who has like 24 pet peeves.
Well, this is okay. So this is Bogue's thing. Bogue doesn't have a lot of middle ground when it comes to like okay or upset. Like it's like either he's really fired up about something or like the world just doesn't exist. It's kind of like in the middle. So
I can see that.
Yeah, that happens. Anything else? Do you want to wish anybody a Merry Christmas? Anybody you want to shout out?
I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. I would say this, and I know we've discussed as we get older, and we've had this discussion the last couple of days. Like next year, I'm going to do this better. I just hope that people, the people kind of get what it's all about and don't over dwell in like what's Christmas dinner and what's because. I texted my team because we were supposed to play tonight and it got canceled. And I will read, Gabe's going blah, blah, blah. Have a Merry Christmas. Share your time with your parents, grandparents, aunts, and uncles. In many cases, your time and attention is all they want. And, I told Jerry this morning. I don't know if I've told you this. Now that I got two girls in college and they're both home, I told all my kids for Christmas, I want two things. Well, I really want three, but one was taken care of. For one, I want a good Christmas card picture because I really care about the Christmas card, even though I got it out incredibly late this year. I want a good Christmas card picture that we can send out. Number two, I want to go out to eat with just me and my three kids and get pizza somewhere and not order it out of a box and have it sit at the dining room table. And I want to go out to some pizza joint and eat pizza with my kids and just, and number three, I want all my kids to watch It's a Wonderful Life with me on Christmas Eve. And if I get those three things, and I've gotten one of them is done, one of them is tomorrow. And now my son's going to be miserable during It's a Wonderful Life because the Cowboys are going to kick the crap out of the Eagles tomorrow, and he's going to be sad. But then, that's all I want. And before we're like, oh, there's a new iPhone, or there's this or that. We always have these lists of gadgets or things that would be really cool. And the older you get, the less they matter, the less the meal matters. Where are we having Christmas dinner? I don't care. As we said yesterday, I'd eat SpaghettiOs. It doesn't matter. Now that I'm of this age, I just want to be around my kids who are off at college, and I'm happy they're home. So make sure we don't get lost in the pomp and the circumstance and what you're supposed to do and what you need to do and what people will be disappointed. I always do this and people will be disappointed. I always bake 4 dozen cookies or 4 million cookies, and people will be disappointed if I don't. And then I think we create stress for ourselves that doesn't really need to be there. And they like the cookies, but we survive without them. So don't make your life more stressful and harder and take away the joy of what it is, trying to do all these things that you think are required.
Very, very well said.
There. Was that a rant? I didn't mean it to be a rant.
No, that wasn't a rant. That was good. And I it's so good. I don't want to ruin it by saying something. I don't want to be a smart ass and demean your really nice rant.
Do we have a Muppets Christmas on the horizon for you?
We do. Muppets Christmas on the horizon. Spirited is on the horizon as well. We'll probably at some point, those will be knocked out in the next 48 hours. So I'm excited for that. And it's good. The cold, you and I talk about this a lot. There's sometimes being stuck in the cold is not an awful thing. Sometimes hunkering down, sometimes getting a chance to kind of take 2 steps back and be stuck somewhere to stay warm isn't the worst thing in the world. So obviously check on your neighbors, especially the old people, because it is going to be so cold. But yes, the hunker down, it is cold, things are canceled, that you're just going to be home is there is a beauty to the simplicity of that we don't have very much anymore. Yeah, no, I'm with you. And COVID's far enough in my rear view that I think I'm looking forward to it again. Because for a while, remember, we all couldn't wait to get the hell out. So.
Regardless of the fact that Sunday is Christmas morning, and there's going to be a niceness to this weekend above and beyond the Cowboy win that's coming tomorrow. Not also above and beyond this, the junkyard dog for $1. So, there's going to be it's going to be good. It's going to be good.
All right. Thank you guys for watching the Midday Show. Be sure to go to NorthcentralPa.com for all of your local news. Power outages, it's cold. There's going to be some stuff going on tonight. Scanner reports, PennDOT reports. You can find them at NorthcentralPA.com. And thank you to Weis Markets for being the title sponsor of the Midday Show. Obviously, we're down to the nitty gritty. If you got to do it at Weis Markets. Pick up one of those last second items that you may need. Thank you again to Weis Markets for presenting the almost Emmy-nominated Midday Show.
Soon to be.
Soon to be. I'm Jeff Everett. He's Mark Messina. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. We will see you guys soon.
Merry Christmas.